Today, let's explore something kind of fascinating: the world of people who see everything you do on social media but post absolutely nothing themselves.
You know who I'm talking about, right? They see your promotion, your breakup, your new puppy. It feels like they're everywhere, and yet they're nowhere. They are these silent observers of our digital age, and we're going to figure out what makes them tick.
Okay, so let's dive right in. Who exactly are these digital ghosts?
So, get this. This number is pretty mind blowing. We often hear that 99% of internet users are lurkers, people who just consume content. But we're zooming in on a really specific group inside that 99%. The people who used to post, but then made a very conscious choice to go silent, even while they keep on watching.
Now, it's really important to get this straight. These aren't people who've quit the internet or gone off the grid. Nope, they live totally modern lives. They use GPS, they stream shows. They've just drawn a very specific, very hard line when it comes to sharing their personal life. And don't mistake this for shyness. Their silence isn't about being afraid of people or not knowing how to connect. It's a fundamental rejection of what social media asks from all of us: to constantly perform our lives for some invisible audience. So, what is that turning point? What makes a person go from sharing everything to sharing nothing at all? This quote, wow, it just perfectly captures that one sudden moment of clarity. It's that instant you realize documenting your life has somehow become more important than actually living it. And for some people, that's a line they just can't cross ever again. You know, for most people, it's a gradual thing. It starts with enthusiastic sharing, right? But then, the exhaustion of keeping up that digital persona, that performance, it just kicks in. That burnout leads to that aha moment. And then comes the choice: step back and just be. So, what's the trade off here? Because choosing to be present instead of performing online, well, it's not a simple win. It comes with some really profound benefits, but also some very real social costs. This really lays out the central tension perfectly. On one hand, when you stop constantly thinking about yourself, you get this mental space. You start to see social dynamics with this incredible clarity. It's almost like you can see the code in the matrix. But the cost? Well, it's huge. You risk becoming invisible in a world where, let's be honest, online presence can feel like real-life existence. And here's a really fascinating twist. Their silence actually becomes a kind of social service. Because everyone knows they're not going to broadcast everything, they become these safekeepers of secrets, you know? They create a space for all the real, messy truths that you just can't post online. And you have to understand, this choice is so much more than a personal preference. It's a quiet, but actually really powerful rebellion against the whole social media system that makes money off of our constant need to share. I mean, think about it. Every single one of these is like a small philosophical protest. It's saying, no, I refuse to turn my life into free content for you. It's rejecting that insane pressure to be authentically curated. It's choosing to live life on a human timescale, not one dictated by an algorithm's endless scroll. So, by opting out of that online performance, they can reinvest their social energy into these deeper, more demanding offline connections. You know, the kind of relationships that require you to actually show up, not just log on. The kind that you can't maintain with just a simple like. But really, when you boil it all down, the non-poster's choice doesn't just tell us about them. It kind of holds up a mirror and forces all of us to ask some pretty tough questions about our own relationship with technology. What's so powerful here is that their choice isn't a rejection of the modern world at all. It's actually a super sophisticated way of navigating it on their own terms. They prove that you can be connected without being completely colonized by the platforms you use. They're basically reminding us that there's real value in a moment that isn't witnessed by anyone else, or an experience that isn't shared. A sunset is still beautiful, even if nobody sees your photo of it. A thought is still valid, even if it never becomes a tweet. In their quiet refusal to post, these non-posters challenge every single one of us to think about what we're really optimizing for. Are we shaping our lives to please an algorithm, or are we shaping them to enrich our own humanity? Their silence asks the question, loud and clear: